the Go Vegan World work, and I've been following it, I think, since it started, and I think it's amazing. And I really like the way you're moving away from sort of like individual advocacy. And this is not critical, I'm just curious, like it strikes me that this sort of like advertising, because it is advertising, must cost a bomb. So I was curious about how you got your funding and where that came from. And then specifically, you were talking about if we've seen something that we find problematic. I was in my local Tesco's a few weeks ago, and they had, it was an internal thing on the so-called dairy section, and it said all our milk comes from happy, healthy cows. And I was like, what? How can they say that? And the next time I went there, I actually took my mobile phone. I was actually going to take a photo, and they removed it. And it was just like, supports British farmers, which I think is, they're not necessarily farmers, they're serial animal abusers in my book. But so yeah, I was kind of curious if you'd heard anything about the Tesco's thing, or so it's really like we do great work. Where does money come from? Tesco's. And is there anything that we can do to sort of help?
I think on the happy cows, I think I had seen some discussion of that on Facebook in various vegan groups. I'm not sure of the facts around whether they've removed that or not. I think that is something that could be complained about. I think if we were doing a complaint about an ad that claimed animals who were being used were happy, there would be a real danger of falling into the welfare trap with that. And focusing on, what I would not want to do is argue these animals aren't happy because our welfare regulations allow X, Y, and Z. I'd want to say, even if they're in the field for a period of their lives, and the industry might claim they are therefore happy, let's look at the inherent injustice of what we're doing to them. And I think there would be a way to frame that possibly could succeed. What I meant to say earlier was, if you go onto the ASA website, they have a decisions page, and you can search for previous decisions. And if you search, just put in animals or meat or dairy, you'll see that there are decisions going both ways. And in some cases they allow these ads, and in some cases they don't. And it very much turns on the facts. But I would say, for complaints, it would be worthwhile reading up some of those previous decisions and then framing the complaint as best we possibly can, and just keep at it, because the more people who are making those complaints, the better. And there's also nothing to stop us complaining to Tesco directly. So whether that is worthwhile or not is another question. But if I know how it can be that you come home particularly incensed by something that you've seen and you want to just do something. And so in that circumstance, you could contact Tesco as well. I would say try to let your emotional response kind of calm down before you do it, because it's more helpful the more logical and reasoned and calm and respectful we can be in our delivery, always. That was on the Tesco ad. On the funding, I came to work with Go Vegan World last year. Fundraising is not my area, but I know from Sandra that Go Vegan World is funded by individuals who support what they're doing. Some small donations, some large. And that's really as much as I know. But it is an area where the industry, they are very taken with that question, because they want to find some nefarious purpose. They want to find that the funders are plant-based industries, for example, that they have some financial gain to get out of this campaign. That's the angle that they've been taking in Ireland, which is a little bit of a desperate position. And also perhaps just a reflection of where we are in the world, where people think that everything has to have a profit motive. The answer Sandra has always consistently given is that these are individuals who want to see an end to animal use, and they see this as one of the effective ways of trying to achieve that. In terms of what you can do, you can follow the Go Vegan World pages and share their posts, share the campaign. They do take donations. Eden Farmed Animal Sanctuary takes donations. There's often posts giving more information about things, trying to share things that are relevant to help each of us be better advocates, the information that we can use. I think those are probably the main things. Does that answer all of your questions?
Yeah, it does. And I think, I mean, my background is journalism. I just think in terms of the whole sort of like pushback from the meat and dairy industry, so-called, I think there's a lot of mileage to be got from, I mean, you're probably aware of that, you've probably got some press people doing that already on the case, but I think ongoingly, there's a lot of mileage to be got out of that side of things.
Yeah, what I would say is that organisation might sound like quite a large entity, but it's basically myself and Sandra. Just so you know. So we do everything we can, but there's always going to be a limit. But yes, I mean the ad campaign that we're anticipating in Ireland, and something similar has been run in Scotland at the moment called Meat with Integrity. And interestingly, the Quality Meat Scotland is an actual government entity. They set it up by statutory instrument, and so the conflict of interest there is real, and we're trying to attract attention to that. There's a lot that can be done in different ways, lobbying, educating, advertising, and so on, and then it just comes down to a question of prioritising, because you've got limited time and money, and so what are you going to decide to do with that, really?
Hi, thank you very much, that was great. I'm just, these sort of tips that you're giving us now, I'm just wondering, you've just said that there's only two of you, but I just wonder if you have capacity to make like some kind of toolkit for if you're a vegan person and you want to make a complaint. These are the things to do, because actually that's something that's easy to share with other people, and that if I'm feeling angry about something, I can go to that and think, okay, that is the process to go through, and these are the ways to do it. Almost like a 10-point bullet kind of how to do that, I think would be really sort of helpful.
Yeah, I think that's the idea. For anyone who didn't hear that, the question was really about could we post something up that would be helpful for vegans to help them to make complaints when they arise. And the answer is yes, and that's definitely something that I will try and do soon. One of the things I thought about was highlighting specific adverts that I think are challengeable, and maybe putting together my submission, my complaint, and then making that public and saying, if you agree, you could cut and paste or whatever. I think there's pros and cons with encouraging mass complaints about an ad, because there was an advert in Ireland, I think last year, I can't actually remember what it was, but it garnered so many complaints that the Advertising Standards Authority said, we're not taking any more. We've got it handled, you've covered every angle, so we won't accept any more. And we would want to make sure that the complaints that actually made it in were crafted really well, and that really hit the points where there was the best chance of the ads being banned. So but I think your idea is good as well, that a general information about, okay, this is how to make a complaint, this is who to make a complaint to, depending which country you're in, and these are the key points. The other thing I meant to mention was the main ground for challenging an ad is that it's misleading. You can't substantiate your claim, but there are also very specific rules around specific types of ads. So if you make a health claim or you make an environmental claim, there are specific rules around that, what you can and can't do, but that's generally far too detailed to get into, and I think that would be the kind of thing where if we thought it was worthwhile doing a complaint, we would do it and then post it and people could make use of it in that way. That's a good question though, thanks for that. Any more questions? Hi. Any more questions before I finish up? Yeah.
Sorry. Also there's things like the happy eggs and things like that, which isn't an advert, that's like a brand.
Yeah.
Are there like legal guidelines around that?
Yeah, so again, it's kind of the same thing. It's is that misleading, and we know it is. trying to think if there has been a complaint about that and it's been upheld. I'm not sure. That would be something worth searching for. This is not an area where we've spent a lot of time yet. We've been mostly dealing with defending the complaints about going world ads. But as I kind of bed into my role and responding to their ads is something we're looking at more. So yes, Happy Eggs is a classic example of something that we might complain about. But we need to firstly check, has there been a complaint before? What specifically was that complaint? What was it backed up with? And again, I would be nervous about it in terms of were we falling into a welfare trap. So I would want to frame it in a way that was consistent with our position that all animal use is wrong and not becoming a welfare advocate, because I believe that welfareism is a barrier to veganism, and welfare is not a step towards rights. They are distinct. When I first went vegan, I thought it was worth supporting both, and I did support both, but I quite quickly realised that that doesn't make sense, and one cuts across the other. So in everything we do, we try to be very clear, and if you look at the submissions that we made to the ASA on the dairy ad and the torture ad, they're good examples, I think, of how we managed that. How we gave them the detailed information about DEFRA's guidelines and what happens on most farms for dairy calves, but at the same time never diverged from our position that all animal use is fundamentally wrong and unjust. And I think those submissions are quite a useful way of showing how we've done that. So with every complaint that we were involved in, that's what we would try to do. Any other questions before I finish up? Yeah.
Can I just ask about any future plans based on how successful it's been in the past and whether you plan to do similar things going forward?
Well, I think Sandra is really behind the campaign, and so it would be for Sandra to kind of say what her visions and hopes were. I think it's to some extent a day-by-day thing, because because you're based on funding coming in from donations, and it's not an arrangement where you can say, oh, we have funding for X number of years. You have to decide what can you do with your budget, basically. But I think, without having spoken to Sandra about this, I would say the success suggests that it should continue and grow. Every time we share the campaign, there are people from other countries who are saying, please come over here. I think that there's a need to kind of change up the ads and keep moving, keep progressing. There's a space maybe for specific response ads, calling out the industry for their claims. But again, there's probably more ideas and things we would like to do than we have a budget for. So it's always kind of being constrained by everything, unfortunately, in this capitalist world. It comes down to that. But the advocacy doesn't cost anything. So every opportunity we can get to be on the TV or the radio or in the newspapers we take. And Sandra was on the radio just a few days ago, and she was interviewed on a podcast, and every opportunity like that we grab, although we don't necessarily love it, the experience. Only vegans will talk about animal rights, because only vegans can talk about animal rights, although those words are often misused where people are actually talking about welfare. And so those of us who can advocate, I think, should. And so that will continue regardless for each of us as individuals, and hopefully as the vegan world as well. So, sorry, that's not necessarily an answer to your question, but probably got 2 more minutes if anyone has anything else they want to ask. Okay, well, if anyone wants to talk one-to-one, I'm very happy to do that. I don't have another talk until 5, so I'm happy to have a wee chat. Thanks very much.